Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. The Steam Summer Sale has officially kicked off. It'll be going from today until July 5th, so expect a couple of videos throughout that time going over some of the better deals of the sale and giving a quick glance at the sale and looking at some of the deals available. This is actually a pretty good sale if you take a look at some of the values of the games. A lot of games are hitting new lows. For example, Metal Gear Solid 5 is down to $9.99. Grand Theft Auto 5 is finally down to $20 for the Steam version. It's a little bit less than that. Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition is already 50% off for $24.99, so there are some diamonds in the rough if you actually take your time and look through the entire sale. For this video, I'm going to be taking a look at 10 games under $5. These are all great games, very cheap games at that. First up, we have Sleeping Dogs, the Definitive Edition. Now, Sleeping Dogs originally released back in 2012. The Definitive Edition was released in 2014, and this version is essentially the same game with all of the extra DLC content. But best of all, it's 85% off for just $4.49. This game is criminally underrated. Unfortunately, it just didn't do well enough from a commercial standpoint for Square Enix to justify a sequel. It's an open world action adventure game with some gorgeous visuals and set in Hong Kong. Now, don't expect an open world game at the scale of, say, a GTA 5 or a Witcher 3. This game's open world is a little bit more contained, but it's still really good, and the combat in this game is great as well, and the story's very good. $4.49 for the game and all of the DLC with the Definitive Edition is a great deal.
Cross the line.
Next up, we have Bastion, 75% off for $3.74. This was the game that really put Supergiant Games on the map. Since then, they've also released Transistor and Pyre. But to me, Bastion is still their best game, and it's a game that's aged really well. Even with the game being released back in 2011, this is a game, because of its gorgeous artistic presentation, it's still a game I can find myself going back to in 2018 and still having a blast with. It's widely considered to be one of the best indie games of all time, and there's a reason why it has an overwhelmingly positive feedback on Steam, 96% positive. And at $3.74, this is such a great game, especially if you've never checked out Bastion. At this point in 2018, this isn't a game a lot of people talk about. Back when it was released, it was widely considered one of the best games of its time. For $3.74, it is a great pickup. I should also mention the Bastion Soundtrack Edition is available, 75% off for $6.24, so you can check that out if you'd like, but the base game for $3.74 is such a good deal.
In case the gods ain't dead. The Calamity gave us something else. A story.
Next up, we have 2013's Tomb Raider Reboot. This game is fantastic as well, done by Crystal Dynamics, of course. Since this game's release, they've released Rise of the Tomb Raider, and later this year we have Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming. Tomb Raider really lost its luster, but this game, Crystal Dynamics did a fantastic job with, and the PC version is great. It still looks very good, and this is described as an origin story, so you can just jump in and play this no problem. And it's available at 85% off for just $2.99. That is so cheap for such a great game, so I would highly recommend this one. The Tomb Raider Game of the Year Edition is available for 85% off as well, $4.49. However, a lot of the downloadable content in this game is just multiplayer stuff, and that multiplayer, you're not buying this game for the multiplayer. You're getting in there for the single player story, and that part is really well done.
Nothing.
Our crew is scattered. I have a bad feeling about this. I've got to find them. We're hunted by the island's inhabitants.
Speaking of single-player stories, Firewatch is 75% off for $4.99. Now, this is a game released back in 2016 that had a lot of hype surrounding it when it was released. At this point, I feel like some of that has died off, but Firewatch is still a great single-player narrative-based game. Very much a story-driven game. A lot of people called it a walking simulator, but hey, you're buying this game purely for the story. Now, I would say that I'm in agreement with a lot of people that think that the ending wasn't all too satisfying, but overall, for the narrative that you're getting, I feel like Firewatch is a game that's absolutely worth checking out, and it is available for 75% off, $4.99. Soundtrack Edition is 75% off as well for $6.24, so you can check that out as well.
Everything's fine, just getting some fresh air.
Well, escaping isn't always something bad.
Next up, we have a Valve game. Yes, remember when Valve was making games? Left 4 Dead 2 is 90% off for $1.99. I feel like if you own a gaming PC or just a PC in general, because Left 4 Dead 2 is so easy to run, this is a must-own title because there is so much longevity to be had with Left 4 Dead 2. Not only is it an absolute blast of a game where its cooperative play is just inherently replayable, but the modding scene in this game is ridiculous, and you will get hours upon hours of enjoyment with Left 4 Dead 2. Like I said, a game with so much longevity to it, and you could even pick up the Left 4 Dead bundle that comes with Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 for $2.98. Honestly, all you need is Left 4 Dead 2 and you will be absolutely set. And $1.99 for Left 4 Dead 2 is pretty ridiculous, and you'll see by the system requirements if you have a look at that, this game is super easy to run. It can run on older laptops, so even if you don't have a gaming PC, it's a game worth checking out because, again, it'll run on just about anything.
Reloading!
Next up, we have one of my personal favorite games, and that is Dishonored. 75% off for $2.49. The Dishonored Definitive Edition is there. That's 50% off for $9.99. Honestly, if you just want to play the base game, picking up the Standard Edition for a fourth of the price of the Definitive Edition isn't a bad look. Dishonored is a great game that really lets you play however you want to. You could go in stealthy, you can go run, gun, and sword your way through, but there are multiple endings depending on how you play the game. Now, I do have to say, I do think Dishonored 2 is a better game than Dishonored 1. However, Dishonored 2 did have some issues on PC that kind of gave that game a negative light. Since then, I believe all of that has been remedied with Dishonored 2. However, I would just recommend check out Dishonored 1 for now if you haven't. And you're only paying $2.49 for the game. I believe Dishonored 2 is closer to $20, so this is just a great deal for the first Dishonored. Next up, we also have a very underrated game that I always like to go to bat for, and that is Enslaved Odyssey to the West. 75% off for $4.99. This was a game done by Ninja Theory, who have also done games such as DMC Devil May Cry, and more recently, they've also done Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. Enslaved Odyssey to the West is a fantastic game, centering around two main characters in this Jack dude and monkey and a girl named Trip. And it's got a lot of good going on for it. It's a post-apocalyptic game, but unlike a post-apocalyptic experience like, say, Fallout, it's very vibrant and colorful. The combat is really good. The PC port, for the most part, is fine. The only issue is, if you want to play at higher resolutions above 1080p, there are a couple of configurations that you have to go through, so just bear that in mind. But still, for $4.99, Enslaved Odyssey to the West is a fantastic game. Doubt we'll ever see a sequel to this one, but definitely go back and give it a look. This is one that saw a delayed release on PC as well, released on consoles back in 2010, then the PC version came out in 2013.
Everyone here dead?
By the looks of it, they've been dead a long time.
I'm gonna die here, aren't I? Just like everyone else.
No, you're not.
I mentioned Fallout a little while ago, so how could I not mention Fallout New Vegas? 67% off for just $3.29. Now, while this is under $5, I would highly recommend you to check out the Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Collection. That gets you Fallout New Vegas and all of the downloadable content, 50% off for $9.99. Alternatively, you'll have a lot of fun with the base game at $3.29, but Fallout New Vegas is a fantastic game, and from my personal experiences, it also has less issues than Fallout 3 on modern PCs. Everyone that I've talked to has had no problem running Fallout New Vegas, but with Fallout 3, there are some workarounds to get that game working on more recent PCs. Nonetheless, both games are very good, and if you've yet to check out Fallout New Vegas on PC, you're doing yourself a real major disservice. This is one of those games that even if you played it on consoles back in the day, Fallout on PC and Fallout on consoles are two completely different experiences, and I would still recommend you to check out Fallout New Vegas. In my opinion, New Vegas is a better game than Fallout 4, and I think the majority of you guys are in agreement with that. Fallout 4 is an okay game, but New Vegas, it seems like, has a special place in the majority of gamers' hearts. So $3.29 is a great deal. Again, I would recommend to pick up the Ultimate Edition. That is at $9.99, but if you just want to stick with the base game, you'll still have a lot of fun.
Out of an orange-colored sky.
Next up, we have one of the best RPGs of all time. Mass Effect 2 is 75% off for $4.99. That is a great deal on Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is such a significant improvement over Mass Effect 1 that a lot of times I'll just recommend you to jump into Mass Effect 2 without playing ME1. If you want to play Mass Effect 1, by all means go for it. Just know that it hasn't aged as well as Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 1 has some clunky controls, but you can pick up the Mass Effect Collection, which includes Mass Effect 1 and the Mass Effect 2 Digital Deluxe Edition for $8.74. That's not a bad deal, but if you want to jump right into Mass Effect 2, it is such a good game, and it is widely considered one of the best RPGs of all time for a reason. The game's got a 94 on Metacritic. A 94 is absolutely insane, so this is a game I highly recommend everyone to check out. Just a fantastic RPG that I found still enjoyable if you did not play Mass Effect 1, and of course Mass Effect 3 is an okay game as well, although many were not all too happy with that game's ending. You could check out the base game of ME2 for just $4.99, Digital Deluxe Edition is $7.49, and then the collection with both 1 and the Digital Deluxe Edition of 2 is $8.74.
We need a leader. And surround them with the brightest, the toughest, the deadliest allies we can find.
And finally, a quirky game to round things out. I gotta give a mention to Castle Crashers, which is 70% off for $4.49. If you want to talk about a game having longevity, like I said with Left 4 Dead 2, well, Castle Crashers doesn't have a deep modding scene to it. Castle Crashers is also a game that is so easy to go back to, especially if you play this game with a couple of friends. There are not many cooperative experiences better than Castle Crashers. It is just a ton of fun to play. It's got a stylish look to it that, just like Bastion, over the years it has aged very well, and I can find myself going back to it and playing it no problem. And again, this is a game that's very easy to run. Older laptops, older PCs, you will have no problem playing this game. Get a couple of friends to buy it too, or check out the Castle Crashers 4-pack. You get 4 copies of Castle Crashers for the price of 3, so if you can split that with a couple of friends, you're gonna get an even better deal. Castle Crashers is an awesome co-op game, and if you've yet to check it out, it is an older title that, again, is one of those games not a lot of gamers bring up these days. I would definitely say go back and give it a look. So that's gonna conclude this video. 10 awesome deals as a part of the Steam Summer Sale that are under $5. All of these games are really good, can't go wrong with any of them, and I feel like I had a decent bit of variety with the genres that I picked and the styles of games that these are. If you guys have a request for a future video covering the Summer Sale, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments section down below. Request for any other future videos, you can leave that in the comments as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.